On this day, we recall the great army of the family of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, who conquered eternity with the good use of time. It seems that Teresa of Avila intercepted St. John of the Cross when he was thinking of transferring to the Carthusians, and they together worked for the reform of the ancient order of Mount Carmel, which traces its origin already in the school of the prophets, as can be seen from their devise, Zelo Zelato Sum Domino Deo Exercitum, with zeal I have been zealous for the Lord God of hosts. Elijah had something in common with the mystics of Mount Carmel. Not only did he have strange experiences of the Godhead, but he also and his family knew that there would be a woman, and that was seen in the cloud that somehow rose from the water, the virgin daughter of Mount Carmel. And we, when I was a student at Aberystwyth, used to sing in the Carmelite house where I was living, at the end of the day, after the song of the Compline, which was usual in any monastery, Salve Regina, the chant particular to the order of Mount Carmel, Flos Carmeli, Flower Carmel. And we think on this day of all those who followed the Holy Virgin protected by her scapula. We think of the saints who have been canonized in very recent years, all those from Teresa of the Child Jesus to St. Elizabeth of the Trinity, Miriam of Jesus Crucified, Teresa Benedicta of the Cross, along with her hidden sister Rose, of course, who was also martyred at Auschwitz, and all the many others who have conquered eternity, wearing the sacred habit and using well the armor of the interior life, specifically with 2 hours of mental prayer a day. The stamping, therefore, of time and the careful use of the mind, the preparation of an interior castle, is something that we can take on board, for there are no shortcuts. John of the Cross indicates that to be a great talker is an incompatible element of the soul when it comes to the interior life. We need therefore to channel our energy, and these strong moments of interiority, of encounter with the spouse, are things that we need to cultivate wherever we are. For the danger of our time is that rather than protect our interior castle, our energy becomes by our own volition frittered away, and we go into many channels outside our soul. For there are no shortcuts in the interior life. Therefore, a certain simplicity and a prayer of just regard and intimacy of gaze is something that we need to cultivate. Of course, some things are common to the whole monastic world, and as in the case of Elijah, when once a long time and a long distance from humanity, he was able to hear the still small voice, not in the earthquake, but in the quiet calm. So too, the monastic centuries have always found that we come back to base, away from noise, wherever we are, because the soul always has the same structure. We need to work on it, lest our life too be frittered away, and we find that we're out of breath, and fall in that mood into the grave, asking where all that went so quickly and so unrestrained. And so it is that I often think of the monastic bell which called and still calls I recall how at Farnborough Abbey, which was actually a good abbey, there was the casting of new bells, and I recall how in France it was written on the bell of the monastery, Quid clamabo, what shall I cry? Omnis caro fenum, all flesh is grass. And the bell calls us back. In the hermitage, it can be done with the programming of the day on the alarm 5 times in the 24-hour period being programmed to call to prayer. We can calculate time. The Angelus is still wrong in Ireland. We need quiet times where we are still, lest life passes over us unwittingly. Quid clamabo, omnis caro fenum, as the new bells are being cast for Farnborough Abbey in 1988. A molten moment of eternity. At this repeating hour, herein is cast, in lambent heat, whose cooled serenity will shape the frigid hours, slow trickling past these windows that look down upon a world oft called, recalled by brazen whetsin sound from its own noisy clamour, ever whirled back forth, till hushed by rushed fate's bound. Oh, passing of a whimper, wherein earth re-echoes her son's cry, thou seemest all, to all that hear thy pain or hoard thy mirth. Yet these new souls inanimate will call each dusk and dawn across a din to fall. There is time yet, one gap from time to pull.